everyone. This is a great way to start a day at the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety Development Services Center with Council President Paul Krikorian, who will be joining us shortly, Council Member Nithia Ramen, Chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee, and Michelle Gascoigne, Regional President, Southern California and Hawaii Markets of Kaiser Foundation Health Plan and Hospitals. Let me also thank the Department of Building and Safety General Manager Osama Yonan and Director of City Planning Vince Bertoni for standing with me today. The windows you see behind me where permit reviews and approvals happen so that new housing and other buildings can move forward on construction. This is an important process, and those who check these plans work hard every day to uphold the city's expectations for development, but we must continue to move forward. Today, I will sign an executive directive that takes action to make housing more affordable and available throughout Los Angeles. Unaffordability in our city is in parts driven by the costs and impossibility of buying a first home have pushed out too many families, older adults, and young people who have hoped to live in the neighborhoods that they grew up in. I hear all over the city, what are we going to do to make housing more affordable? Well, the high cost of housing obviously is most extreme in the 46,000 people who are on our streets every day. But people who are housed or who are graduating college and want to live in the town they grew up in are consistently priced out. So we have to look for ways to prevent people from falling into homelessness, but we also have to make sure that our city is open and available to everyone to be able to purchase a home. So we're taking action to incentivize more housing to be built for people of all income levels and to make increasingly affordable housing units a top priority. My instructions also require city departments to begin to address the barriers to home ownership so that more people can realize the dream of owning their own home. I'm also instructing the city to look more creatively at how to cut through red tape and help convert some existing buildings into housing through adaptive reuse. In addition, I'm instructing our dedicated city development services departments to cut the time it takes to permit mixed income housing and to remove unnecessary bottlenecks so that the city can help deliver housing units more quickly and encourage more affordable housing to be included in projects. As I have talked to developers around the city, they say one thing: it takes too long to get projects done, and every time there is a delay, it increases the costs. So we will advance this package of solutions in partnership with our communities and with their input. Creating a future where Angelenos can live more affordably must center Angelenos and their communities. Now let me introduce the chair of the Housing Committee, Councilwoman Nithia Ramen.
Thank you all for being here this morning. The last time I was at a press conference with the mayor, it was to announce the successes that had come with Executive Directive 1, which sped up permitting processes for 100% affordable housing and resulted in thousands of new units of affordable housing being permitted. I shared a story at that press conference about a project that had initially submitted as a market rate project, and thanks to the predictability and shorter timelines offered by Executive Directive 1, came back to us as a 100% affordable project. That is how much private real estate investors value predictability. We can actually incentivize the creation of deeply affordable and much needed housing in the city by simply changing the regulations that meet these developers when they come to the city asking to build. What's exciting about today is that it takes another step forward. After I saw the success that ED1 was having, my team and I toured the Marvin Browdy Development Services Center, a place that looks very, very similar to this, to understand what was the city doing differently under ED1 to deliver these projects in such a short timeline. And what I learned was that what ED1 did was to put 100% affordable housing projects at the front of the line. But it did not fundamentally change how decisions were being made on these projects, that is what today's work is about. And that is what is going to be so transformative. Now we have an opportunity to take decision-making processes in the city that have slowed down housing because they're sequential and make them simultaneous. We have the opportunity to make sure departments like the Fire Department, Department of Building Safety, the Department of City and Planning are really talking to each other as they are approving housing, and to create a process that doesn't just put the projects we want to see most at the front of the line, but to create a line that is faster, easier, and smoother for the city, so that everything that we need that needs to be built can be built in the speediest timeline possible. I couldn't be more pleased to be here with so many of my excellent partners within the city, and I want to thank Mayor Bass for her leadership in bringing this forward. Thank you.
Let me introduce Michelle Gascoigne.
Thank you so much, Mayor Bass. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today as we witness another bold move from our mayor. I want to thank you, Mayor Bass, for your bold leadership and sensible actions aimed at increasing housing availability for all Angelenos. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, along with Councilmember Ramen and Deputy Mayor Freeman, to celebrate this important executive directive, yet another bold move. As one of the largest employers in Los Angeles, with nearly 24,000 physicians and staff, Kaiser Permanente is grateful for your focus on helping workers in LA have the opportunity to call LA home. Kaiser Permanente and fellow employers in the city are committed to creating quality jobs for Angelenos. However, we need help to meet the housing needs of a workforce that is already stretched thin after 3 years of a global pandemic and significant increases in housing. Affordable and accessible housing is crucial if Los Angeles is to successfully compete with other cities and states across the country, as we all strive to recruit and retain nurses and other healthcare professionals. Easing production hurdles is a welcome change toward expediting housing availability in the city. As a nonprofit focused on improving the health of the communities we serve, we know that quality housing is a key contributor to overall health and well-being. In fact, housing is health. We have seen firsthand how health and housing sectors can strengthen neighborhoods, but also how housing insecurity can negatively impact both mental and physical health. These impacts create rippling effects that impact all Angelenos. We can only overcome this dire situation if all of us, the private, not-for-profit, and public sectors, work together. Thank you for including Kaiser Permanente today, and we look forward to supporting you, Mayor Bass, as you continue to find real and meaningful ways to help all Angelenos thrive. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Deputy Mayor Rachel Freeman.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Mayor Bass. Our city is grappling with the severe housing crisis that is decades in the making. The need to provide more housing for Angelenos is inherently intertwined with the economic health of our city as a whole. Even with some of the city's more recent, over the last several year efforts to build more housing, the city has reached less than half of its goal for both low and very low income units, and less than 10% of its target for moderate income housing units in the last regional needs housing assessment. To address the challenges before us and fulfill our goal to meet the housing needs of all Angelenos, this executive directive employs a multifaceted approach to both streamline and accelerate the production of housing, especially for projects that provide affordable units, by making more housing project approvals ministerial and by addressing the significant delays and barriers to the permitting process. Executive Directive 7 drives us towards our desired outcomes in several significant ways. Today, housing developments on sites that are zoned for multifamily may still require a discretionary site plan entitlement review, causing extra time, risk, and uncertainty in the development process. ED7 tasks the Planning Department to reevaluate site plan review thresholds, taking into consideration sensible design standards and affordability criteria. Earlier this year, the City Council adopted an ordinance that takes the urgent and necessary step of exempting affordable units from counting towards the site plan review threshold. However, the program as a whole is in need of a more comprehensive review that is yet to be undertaken. We must remove the barriers and deliver housing that we need in the appropriate locations where our long-range plans seek to facilitate. Mayor Bass is also directing city departments to use all available CEQA streamlining tools to help cut down on the lengthy review processes. The city planning department will evaluate and right-size the temporary construction noise thresholds that we use to measure project impacts, which currently do not reflect the urban environment and have made it challenging to build some of our infill housing. We need to explore every possible tool to help accelerate housing, including studying what building code revisions may be needed to help facilitate adaptive reuse of buildings. This will also be included in our set of initiatives. We are asking the Planning Department to report back on barriers for the development of both for-sale housing and propose ways that the city can better encourage the development of for-sale housing to support home ownership opportunities that are so critical for neighborhood stability, economic mobility, and the opportunities for families to build generational wealth. ED7 directs departments to reduce permitting processing timelines for qualified mixed-income projects, and additionally, this directive brings departments from all across the city family to study challenges in permitting for housing and to propose solutions to improve that process. This ED also asks for the development services departments to participate in ongoing efforts to help modernize the technology used in permit applications and review. Over time, we'll see big impact from this work. The mayor's direction has been clear. We must build more affordable and accessible housing to meet the needs of all Angelenos. Once the mayor signs this document, I will be working hand in hand with city departments and community stakeholders to help bring together the goals of this directive to fruition.